Hello everyone, my name is James Lex. I'm the creator and developer of eScore, and today I'll be going over how to interpret results. So you've quizzed all day, and you've got a page that looks like this, and you're saying, oh my goodness, what do I do with it? So let's just take it one piece at a time. This is taken from my team's regionals last year. So this overall team results right here. We're on the team results page. There are team results and individual results. We'll start with teams. So the overall team results, this is the general stuff that the statistician often gives. The team's very general record, winning percentage, points, and average. Pretty basic, but I have obviously broken it down. So overall team statistics, we can see my team, which is coming in the opponents, and you can see the points. There's a huge divide there, some 1,310 points, something like that. So there's a big gap there in terms of competition. Correct answers, you can see 104 to 41 incorrect. We got more incorrect, but we got more correct, and you can see the accuracy. This is pretty amazing that the accuracy is so tight, that 81 and 80%. Ideally, coaches like a team's accuracy about 80%. 100% means you're hitting too slow, and less than 80 means you're hitting too fast. Okay, so percentage of 10s hit. This is pretty easy when you think about it, because if you think of all the 10s that are hit, or think of all the 10s that are asked, my team hit 86% of them, and the other team hit only 34%. Now you might be saying, well, that doesn't add up to 100, and that's because of rereads. So it very rarely adds up to 100, and usually on 30s it won't. 10s and 20s will go over 100 if you add them up, and 30s will be under because of no responses. And percentage of 10s correct. This is simply take the ones that you answered, and this is pulled off the individual results page. But these are all of the 10 pointers team answered. That's what they got correct. And you can see the opponents too. You can see the opponents have a higher accuracy, but because they had less of them, they didn't score more points. So if I were a coach and I were looking at this, I would say, well, we're hitting a lot of 10s, but the accuracy isn't there. So that is definitely an area of improvement. So even though this team went 8-0 and averaged 246 points a game, the percentage of 10s correct is a little low. Percentage of 20s correct, that's awesome. 85%. And 30s, it's really awesome. 95%. They go down here to some contest. I find this valuable because teams have this tendency to over contest, or even under contest. So right here you can see only 2 contests. Only 50% are accepted, and you really want your acceptance rate to be 50%. If it's any lower, you're just contesting way too much. Rounds with contests, I put that there because after a grueling day, I'm curious how many rounds are contests. So if you've got like 6 rounds here with contests and there are 8 rounds, you can tell it was just a long day of contesting. Average margin of win, average margin of loss. If you beat the other team, then it takes that margin, just adds it up and divides it by the number of games you won. So in this case, my team only won games, so there's only a stat for average margin of win, but if we had lost games, there would have been both. And usually what this will say is if your average margin of win is 160 and your average margin of loss is 100, you're pretty much blowing teams out or getting blown out. Okay, round by round results. This is something I put in. It kind of gives a quick snapshot of the day. I use it for a couple of reasons. One is I can see the teams, let's just see here, 8 rounds. So if I highlight these 4 cells and look down here at the bottom of Excel, you can see the team's average was 236. After those last 4 rounds, the average was 255. So you can see the average has gone up pretty significantly, and this is especially helpful if you have a lunch. You can just kind of highlight, say you have 3 rounds before lunch, you can highlight these 3. Okay, 248 average, after lunch 244. Okay, so it went down, not a big deal. But take a look at the opponents. Let's just pick the first 3. Okay, their average 53, after that 99. Well, that went up. So now that obviously depends on who you play, but if you look at it just your team, you can figure out, okay, what's going on. So if you've got some bad matches early in the day and you do better, you can figure out the margins. Okay, so that's the round by round results. If you see a match and you say, hey, I want to see this match 290 to 5, you can click right here and it'll take you right to that round. Okay, advanced round by round results. This is kind of like a quick snapshot of the round without having to go to each round page. So let's see, we have our team versus EJ, 290 points 5, we just went over that. You can see the correct answers far outweighs the incorrect, and this is my favorite part of the advanced round by round results because it shows the accuracy. And what she will find is that the winning team always has a higher accuracy than the losing team. The only exception, we'll get to that in a few rounds, and that'll become pretty obvious, but it's very safe to say that the winning team will always have a higher accuracy than the losing team. Okay, round 2, more of the same. You can just see points, correct, incorrect, contests. Over here is a quick snapshot of what happened, so you can see, you know, she scored 55 and she got 3 right and 1 wrong. Let's go down here, round 3. This is the exception. And you can see we beat Tukoa 155 to 130. But look at the correct answers, 12 versus 5. So it's way more correct answers than 5 incorrect. Now you can see Tukoa had 100% accuracy, but they also didn't hit quite as much. Same down here around 4. You can see that we beat Montgomery by 45 points. But we had, and even though their accuracy was higher, we had more correct answers than they did. So that's why we won. And this is why I like to look at the individual results. I just see, well, that's 140, 130 there on Hud, James, and Hudson on different teams. That's only a 10-point advantage for coming. And you can see the rest was made up by Rachel at 40, which was more than Silas, Sarah, and more than Amberly, etc. You can see the correct and incorrect there. Alright, if you want to go see that match, you just click on the image there, and that'll take you to the match. Okay, on to individual results. This is a page that I developed mostly because I wanted to see just see where were my points going, what was I doing. And again, the typical statistician will show you your name, the points, your average, and quiz outs, and sometimes the strikeouts. But I wanted to see it all the time, and that's exactly what I did. So, you can see here that I've added quiz out percentage, which is just the number of rounds. So 8 rounds, I got 8 quiz outs, I quizzed out 100% of the time. Ratio here, 2 quiz outs out of 8 rounds, that's 25% of the time. Perfect scores, perfect score is automatically calculated by eScore and then adds up how many times you got it. I only got it 1 time, no one else did. Usually perfect scores only goes to the top quizzer generally. Now one of my favorite parts, correct and incorrect. Again, 80% accuracy is what you want. I hit 87, Anna unbelievably high at 96. The other two were a little lower, but look at the team accuracy, 81%. It's very just above the 80% that we want as a team. So that's good. Advanced results. Let's see, 10-point questions. I did not hit any 10-pointers. That's because I'm the 20s, 30s person. But I can look here and see, okay, well, that was a good day. 40 look up here, 40 correct answers, 6 incorrect, accuracy 87. Okay, 87 is good, but look down here. I break it down by 20s and 30s. You can see I could definitely improve on 20s, even though it's above that 80. Just look at the 30, 17 and 1, 94. You don't need to mess with that. Only 1 incorrect out of 8 rounds. 20s though, 5 incorrect. That is an area of improvement, something I worked on for nationals. You can see Anna here. Remember she had that high accuracy, 96%. You can see she hit 8 10-pointers, got 7 right. Look at the 20-pointers, 16 and 0. So I would tell her, hit 20-pointers. You're obviously really good at it. Down here, you can see that this is a skewed, what I call a skewed accuracy. I mean, yeah, it's 67% because it's 4 out of 6. But it's only 6 questions out of 8 rounds, so it's not the best indicator. She didn't hit 67% on all of her questions, so I don't think that's the best statistic there. Instead, I like looking over here where you have 17 and 6. That's where you can see that and see 74. Okay, that's a pretty accurate, reflective statistic here. I mean, it could be anything when it's only a few questions, usually 6 or less. And then Sarah, she's the utility player because she answered 10s, 20s, and 30s, and she hit them all for pretty good accuracy. The 10s, though, is obviously where she can improve because it's 67%, and she's hit a lot of them. So I would tell her improve for the next time over between regionals and nationals, improve hitting the just 10s hitting, figure out, go over the matches, go over the questions, see where the interruptions were. Okay, round by round results. This is something I instituted because a statistician said, I want to go over each individual score round by round, and so I added this. You can see obviously it's pretty straightforward. You got the team and then what each individual scored. What I like to use this for is figuring out who was hot early in the day and who was hot later in the day. So for me, I can highlight these first 3 rounds, look down here, average is 123. The last 5 rounds average is 138. So that for me, I can look at this and say, okay, morning, something's going wrong in the morning. But if I look at the morning, I'll see 125, 150, 95. I see inconsistency. I see 150 and then 95, and then the rest are all 130s, 140s, and the 150 there. So I look at this and I say something is obviously going wrong in the mornings. And so for nationals, I made several adjustments. One of them included going to bed earlier. Now for these quizzers right here, you can kind of see getting hot at different times. You can see that there was only one match where 3 of us quizzed out. You can see the rest were only 2 at a time. Alright, well that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about eScore, obviously go to jameslex.com/eScore. Email me. You can find tutorials, the manual, and everything else you need for eScore.